Welcome back to the Wizard's Yacht. Yes, it's time for more yacht videos, guys. Let's get started. And as you can see, we have moved to a new slip. This one has a little patio or a deck built into it. And the boat is a dirty girl. She is dirty. She's been sitting all winter waiting for us to come back, and it's going to take a lot of cleaning. There's also tons of things I've got to do to get it ready to even go on the water. I've got to dewinterize it, hook up all the coolant hoses into the hull, and that is what I'm going to show you guys today. Getting a boat ready, there's a lot to it. You don't just jump in and turn the keys on and go. There's a lot of work. We're going to spend a whole day just getting this thing ready for the lake. So without further ado, let's take a look around the boat. There used to be a small wooden Chris Craft boat here in this location, and we were crossing our fingers that someday it would leave and we could take this slip. And it happened. They sold the boat, or I don't know what happened. The boat is gone. And before anyone else could take it, I emailed the owner of the marina and said, I'll take that one. I want that slip. So they moved our boat over for us, and now we have, like you can see what I'm standing on, a little patio to put tables on, chairs, and picnic or whatever. So as you can see, the previous owner left behind some lattice work with bird poop all over it, and it's pretty dirty. It's got dust and dirt all over it, but that's okay. I mean, it's our slip, so now we get to clean it. I'm just happy to have it. They left behind a garden hose reel, some stairs, a nasty trash can that's all broken with a few pieces of trash in it. Most of the slips don't have a recessed deck like this or a patio. This one makes it nice because it's right even with our swim platform, so we can walk out straight onto the boat and go up the ladder. It'll make it a lot easier getting on and off the boat, loading things on and off the boat, because Mrs. Wizard keeps finding more heavy things to bring down to the lake and put into the boat.
I do not.
Yes, you do. But like I said, it's very dirty. Let's go take a look. When we first got this boat, it was trashed. It was nasty, nasty, nasty. It took us weeks and weeks to clean it all up. This is nothing, guys. I mean, this is just a winter's worth of dust and dirt and rain and bugs and bird poop. We can have all this cleaned up in an afternoon and have it shining and pretty and ready to go again. But you can see all along the gunnels here, it is pretty dirty. And as you can see, the previous owner left us a nice patriotic clothesline with a scrubber for a grill.
Gross.
So we are not a religious figure. We cannot walk on water. So we have to stand here on the piers. Now we're on the other side, and you can see the cushions, and they are pretty dirty as well. And if you look at the windshields, it looks like it's been through a dust storm. Pretty nasty. I can't wait to get it cleaned up, because when this thing's sparkling and clean and out on the lake, it really garners a lot of attention. You don't see many of these classic vintage boats out on the water anymore. So I'm excited to get it cleaned up. Luckily, the interior was enclosed and protected. It is all spotless and clean, just the way we left it last fall. We've got a lot of work ahead of us to get this thing ready. So through the magic of video, we're going to do a little work on it and get right back to you guys. So I'm going to snap my finger and we'll be showing you the results. So I've got my Pac-Man shirt on, ready for game on to get this dewinterizing done. There are 3 engines and 2 air conditioning systems on this boat that both use, actually not both, but all 3 of those systems use lake water. The generator and both main engines do not have antifreeze during the summer when you're cruising around the lake. There's no antifreeze, guys. It's just lake water going through the engines. It's called raw water, is what it is. Newer boats have heat exchangers and everything. They actually do have antifreeze, but back in these days on the old boats, it's just raw lake water. You can't leave the lake water over the winter inside the engine block. It could freeze and crack the block. So right now my generator and both main engines have pink marine antifreeze in them, and the seacocks, or actually the little ports through the hole in the bottom that actually allow water to come through into the engine, are currently all closed. You can see this red hose right here, and it goes down to what looks like a plastic bag. That red hose is the intake for lake water. That's where it draws water in to cool the engine. And then if you look right here, this is the exhaust port off the engine. It actually just shoots the water through this pipe into the exhaust and out the boat. And the main engines do the same thing as well. So on these boats, when you see the exhaust coming out, you're also seeing water come out. Water and exhaust both leave together outside of the boat. It's kind of strange, but that's the way these boats work. Right now, you saw the plastic bag. Once you close the seacock, you put a plastic bag over it and put the hose back on. That indicates to me, or any marina maintenance people, if they have to come in here and work, they can look at that. That's kind of a universal signal here at this marina that says, this has been winterized. The seacock is closed. So if you try to start the engine, you might overheat it. So now we're going to remove the hose, remove the bag, throw it away in the trash, put the hose back on, and open up the seacock. Now we'll be able to start the generator and suck up some fresh lake water, get the antifreeze out, and it'll take care of it. So let's go ahead and get that part done. You see the pink coloration there. That's actually antifreeze. I'll let some of it drain into this bag and you can see it. See that, guys? That's not water, that's nice pink antifreeze. So I see antifreeze, that's a good sign. That means all winter long this engine's been protected. This little spout right here is where I'm going to connect the hose back on. I'll also put an extra clamp on just for safety. But there's nothing between that and the lake water other than that little valve down there. If I were to turn that valve on, it would allow lake water straight into the boat and start flooding the boat. We definitely don't want to do that. So let's put our hose on first. And we'll double clamp it. Got that one nice and tight. And that one's nice and tight. Most of these last year did not have double clamps. We decided this year, when we go to dewinterize, at the seacock we will add double clamps. We don't need those coming off or leaking. We don't need any trouble like that. So these are older style seacocks. They don't just simply open and close. You have to loosen it by unscrewing the T-handle, and it's normal for it to leak a little water. Now I've got that loosened, now I can move the valve up. So this right here is the actual valve. This over here is just a locking mechanism to keep it from moving. I've got it to the open position. Now I will lock it into place. There we go. Nice and tight. If this were to fail or something were to leak into the boat, we have bilge pumps in place that would pump and get the water out. We also have a water alarm in here through email or through the internet, which there is Wi-Fi out here. It would alert us there's water in the boat. Then I could call the marina from far away from home and say, hey, go check out my boat, something's wrong. luckily we got no such alarms. And when we opened it up here just recently, I saw there's no water in the bottom, so that's really, really good. It's a good sign. This engine, also the two main engines, have rubber impellers that actually do the pumping of the lake water. I don't need to mess with those this year. Last year we put brand new ones boat wide all over the boat. All the engines got new impellers. The marina service manager tells me he lets them go 2 to 3 years and then he'll change them again. Some people change them every single year for insurance. And he says that's a great move if you have a small John boat or a fishing boat. It's just one impeller. He says when you got 3 and it's a kind of a tear down to replace them, he said 2 to 3 years is a good measure. We're on our 2nd year, so we're good for a little while. I'm going to go ahead and go over this engine and double check all the hose clamps that involve lake water. So here's one here. Make sure I get a good turn on that one. That's actually the red hose we just hooked up. Here's one over here. Nice and tight. Nice and tight. There's one over here. Nice and tight. I guess you could say German specs, good and tight. That one's tight. Last is the exit into the exhaust. That's good. I'll check these clamps actually on the exhaust itself. And luckily, this is an old enough boat. There are no catalytic converters or CATs on the boat. I don't think any of the boats have them because water runs through the exhaust, and that would not be conducive to a catalytic converter working with water running through it. We do have the boat cat though. You guys have seen it in previous videos, and several people have commented they think it's a real cat. This one here. He's holding that screwdriver for me. I asked for the screwdriver a minute ago, and he did not help me.
He didn't blink either, for that matter.
Yeah, it's kind of a creepy cat. But that's the only cat that's on this boat.
You bit its eyeball. Hey.
So I mentioned before, this has a muffler that's kind of like just a canister. It's right below me, down here. It looks like a little propane tank or something, a little tan colored or white colored bucket down there. Actually, that fills with water, and it uses water as a muffler. So the exhaust bubbles through all that. It comes out through here and out the side of the boat. So you don't really hear any exhaust. It's muffled by water. So we've got all the hose clamps checked and double clamped at the seacock. Here's our dipstick. It's got fresh oil in it from last year. I'm not going to mess with servicing it this year. We hardly even used the thing. But you can see it's about halfway between low and full. I could probably add a half of a quart or a quarter of a quart. It doesn't take a whole lot. So I'll go ahead and put that back in. But the oil is within the safe range, so all of our clamps are good to go. I know the fuel is good to go. The oil is good to go. Let's go ahead and crank this thing up for the first time for the season and get all that antifreeze flushed out. And we'll have fresh lake water ready to rock and roll. So I'll go ahead and get the generator turned on, and we'll check for any leaks, lake water leaks, oil leaks, or anything like that, and let it run for a minute and flush itself out. Well, I consider that a success. No leaks. I looked at the panel here. It was charging the batteries. Also, it was providing 120 volts for us. We got it all flushed out. It started right up. I'm very happy about that. Those good old Onan generators. It's actually from the 70s. It's an Onan generator. 6,500 watts is what it is. So I saw no leaks. Everything started right up. Everything went really well. It's charging. So I'd say the generator is ready for the season. Now let's move on to the air conditioning system. Mrs. Wizard, isn't there a horror movie, something about the people under the stairs or something? I don't know, but that's where we're going next. the air conditioning units and the seacock for that is underneath the stairs. I'll get that out of the way. Here we are again, and there is a tiny bit of water in down there. I've been doing some work on some other systems and I got some water in there, but here's our seacock. This goes to a pump, and that's specifically for the air conditioner. So I'll go ahead and remove that one. See, I'm making messes everywhere. Get this bag out of the way. And there's our seacock. If I open it up, we have lake water coming in, just like that. So I'll get an extra clamp here, put that on, and then put this back on so we don't keep spilling. Don't you hate it when you drop your tools in the hull of a boat? They get all slimy. Here's that one. And we'll add a second clamp. Now let's check all the clamps for here. That one looks like it's a little split there, but as you can see here, this hose was split at the end. I don't think it was in danger, but I'm not going to chance it. We'll put another clamp on, and I cut the bad end off. There we go. So I got that little piece repaired, and I'll go ahead. I checked the clamps on the AC system and it's fine. Everything's good, so now I'll open the seacock. Now I'll turn on the AC and watch on the outside of the boat to make sure there is water coming out. So did you see water coming out, Mrs. Wizard?
Sure did.
Okay. Well, we got a good working system then. So that part is done. I'm going to go ahead and do both main engines and V drives and everything. It's a lot of work, time consuming. Once I get them all on, then I'll show you guys what that looks like. But I'll do the work first. So this has been a multi-step process. Yesterday I had my Pac-Man shirt on. Today I have Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian. I really like The Mandalorian. So here we are in the salon. We've got it cleaned up, everything arranged. The goal this weekend wasn't so much to go out and have fun, but it was to get the boat out of winterization mode and into summer cruising mode. It's been a lot of work. We've got it done, but here we are back in operation in the salon. Everything is ready for the summer. One thing that I did yesterday as well is you guys just saw me do the seacocks for the air conditioning units and also for the generator. I told you I would take care of the main engines and show you the results. I've done that. Everything's back together. Everything's flushed out. Nice fresh water into the engines. That they are ready for summer cruising. Let's take a look at what it looks like. And remember, the engines are under the beds. So yes, I sleep on Chrysler 400 big block engines. So I have the wood panel out of the way, and you can see there is the Chrysler Marine 280, 400 cubic inch. It is a big block. They run perfectly. I've had to really do nothing to them. But if you look, right there, there's a long black hose, and it goes to the seacock there. That is the main entrance of lake water to cool the engines. That one cools this particular engine. There are two engines. We're just showing this one today. And then behind the transmission, there are two seacocks there that cools the V drive. One going in, one going out. Those are hooked back up and also pumping fresh water. So those have to be done at the end of each season and the beginning of each season. Yesterday we actually had the boat out cruising on a quick cruise, kind of like sea trials, I guess, to make sure everything's good to go. There's no leaks, no issues, and it cruised perfectly. We got it up to about 20 knots, cruised on the lake for a while, got back, checked everything. There's no fuel leaks, no oil leaks, no water leaks, and the engines performed flawlessly. So that was a success. We've got everything arranged, everything back into summer mode out of winter mode. We did have the isinglass up for the winter, and we only use it for the winter. Some people cruise all summer long with their isinglass up, but I'm a non-isinglass kind of boater. I don't want that up in my way, blocking my vision. Even though you can see through it just fine, I like to have full, clear vision. And I like the wind. Just like it's windy today, on a hot day, I like breeze coming through. Same thing on my Harley. No windshields. I do not do windshields. So, we got everything cleaned up on the helm. Everything's looking really nice. There's our cushions that Mrs. Wizard adhered to those boxes. You remember she made those boxes for storage and also for seating area. They work very, very well. As you can see, everything is really clean. We really didn't have to clean that much because the isinglass protected it from pollen and dirt and bugs and everything else. So luckily there wasn't a whole lot to do up here. So as you can see, this slip that we have now has a deck included with it. Our old slip did not have that. So we can have our patio chairs, table, everything set up. It's really, really nice. This wouldn't work if we had a 70-foot long boat, kind of like that one over there. That is a 68-foot azimuth. It is from the Mediterranean. It was shipped here. I'm not sure why, but it has been. And it has twin V12 MAN MTU diesels. Very powerful, very expensive. That is easily a $1 million yacht. And you can tell it would not fit in the slip. Really, it won't fit in any of these slips. That's why it's tied off to the side. Luckily, we don't have that problem. So as we finish up at the aft portion of the boat, you can see everything's clean and ready to go. And I do apologize for the wind. It is very windy today. Luckily, we got to take it out for sea trials yesterday. Although it could have been done today, it would not have been fun to dock this thing back into the slip. Mrs. Wizard cleaned off all the pollen and dirt that had collected over the winter. It is gleaming white again. No more dull yellowish color. I'm looking forward to the water warming up. The water's actually pretty cold right now. If you were to swim in it, it's not very enjoyable. Not for very long anyway. In another 2 or 3 weeks, it will be swimming weather. So thanks for following along as we got this thing ready for summer cruising. There are some tools in the boat that I have on my Amazon affiliates link in the description below. Make sure to check that out. We get a small cut for everything you buy. We really appreciate it. And make sure to hit the subscribe button because there's going to be a lot more yachting videos, car videos, all kinds of things coming. Thanks for watching.